PC Wizkid here with the latest from GeIL. We've got the EVO X ROG. This is the Republics of Gamers certified DDR4 memory kit from GeIL. The EVO X RGB, full lighting, beautiful memory. As you can see there, stamp, logo of approval ready to go. And here are the memory and timings that I'll be using today. Of course, it comes in different types of kits depending on what you want. But this one here is the 3000 megahertz frequency memory at CL15, 17, 1735, 1.35 volts, of course. Here's some example motherboards that this can be matched up with. In the box, you've got two memory modules that are 8 gigabytes each. You've got them manual and the required cables to power up the lighting. Whether you've got ASUS board or not, it'll work. Okay, but obviously this is to take full advantage of the ROG ASUS Sync app and everything that the ASUS boards have to offer when it comes to controlling and customizing your lighting. You're going to see it right through here at the top through that frosted glass type of finish. And you've got 4 settings here at the top on this switch that you can slide and then set up accordingly, whether you want it to be red, green, blue, or cycling through the 256 colors that you can choose from. Okay, so this is a full illuminated RGB type of module. Can't go wrong if you're installing this on an ASUS board. It comes there with the 4-pin connector, as you can see, color coded very nicely there. All you have to do is just plug in the cable accordingly that it came with, and then you're good to go once you plug it in on your motherboard. Now, looking here also at the other side, if you don't have an ASUS board, no problem. You just plug in the other cable that it came with, and then plug in the fan header on your motherboard. So, here is an example again on the connector, the 4-pin connector for an ASUS setup. And if you don't have that, well, on the other side of the memory module, you've got the fan header connector right there. And I'm going to show you that anyway so you can see what I'm talking about. Here is the cable, right? And there is your 3-pin fan connector. So that header is pretty standard. And this plugs in on the memory module, right? And you've got 2 of them, 1 for each. So once you plug things in, I mean, on the motherboard itself, you would expect, obviously, some cables to be sticking out. Yes, that's true. I mean, obviously, you know, when you have a memory module that has something coming in, you're going to have some cables kind of sticking out on the side. So keep that in mind. You know, you're going to have something like this on your motherboard. All right. So I want to make sure that everybody's envisioning things, but the memory modules themselves look beautiful. I mean, look at that brushed metallic aluminum finish with that embossed ROG logo on there. It's amazing. Now, the light show itself, that's customized, and it depends on your machine and your setup, right? I mean, there's tons and tons of combinations, too many for me to show you. I'm just showing you a couple here to give you an idea. You can have things pulsating, blinking, on all the time. You can have one thing on, one thing off. You can have it different colors, obviously alternating with different colors. I mean, geez, possibilities are endless, okay? It's up to you how you want to have things looking in your machine, depending on how you have, you know, different components maybe lit up, right? And you want to have them match, you know, and have things coordinated nicely. So this gives you a very nice idea here on how it would look, okay, the EVO X ROG memory. And again, if you have the ASUS or a Sync app, you can control things even further from there. Now, let's do some system benchmarks on this amazing PC that I've got. It's an Intel Core i7 7700K PC there with the defaults on the memory. I'm not overclocking it yet, as you can see. The CPU is slightly overclocked at 4400 megahertz, but that's pretty much it. You can see there the motherboard type that I'm using, the chipset, and again here is the 16 gig kit, the EVO X ROG from GeIL, and as you can see, I do not have it overclocked. I'm using the XMP profile set in the BIOS, so it's automatic. You just go into the BIOS, set the memory to be XMP profiled, and away you go. All right, there are the settings. Now, in AIDA64, here are the benchmark results from the read, write, copy, and latency. Terrific results, as you can see here on the memory read compared to other machines that are 6 and 8 core. I mean, it blew away out of the water the default stock settings, I gotta admit. So I can't complain. These results are absolutely amazing. I can't believe how high it rated my machine that I benchmark this memory kit at defaults. But of course, the CPU is slightly overclocked, and it beat the 8700K, which is amazing. Okay, so that really shows you that you don't have to buy the latest CPU. You can just slightly overclock your existing one, and then away you go, as long as you have a good harmony of components that work well together. Now, on the memory write, same deal. You can see it right there. Those are the results. And on the copy, I can't complain as well. So again, this is all about not necessarily overclocking like crazy. We're just doing some very light overclocking on the CPU only. And the latency was amazing also. You can see that it beat everything on the chart, and it basically put me right at the top. So I was very impressed there on those results as well. Now let's move along to some different benchmarks, slightly overclocked now. We're going to overclock the memory to 33 megahertz, and you can see there the read, write, and copy. Latency stays about the same, but now we've got more bandwidth, so it's pushing more data back and forth. At 3466 megahertz, that's the sweet spot. That's where I found things stable, and I overclocked it to that amount, 3466. If I do that, it obviously bumps up now my results pretty much all the way to the top 3, which is excellent. So really can't complain there. Performance test 9.0, I'm looking really at the memory read and memory write. Those two are the ones that I'm concentrating on and comparing to other memory modules. So you can see here on the memory read, 20.58 megabytes per second, all right, and how it compares to other memory kits. And here is the write results, the memory write, 13.934 megabytes per second. And again, you know, it all depends. What do you want? Do you prefer speed or bandwidth? So this is a great balance of both. On W prime, when I overclocked it to 3466, it actually shaved off 0.2 seconds. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but when you add up 0.2 seconds with all the calculations that you could be doing with this system, that's a lot. Okay, that is a lot. So, terrific looking memory, terrifically fast and outperforming memory, especially when overclocked. As you can see there, these are beauties. How could you not have a memory kit like this in your ASUS ROG board? If you've got one of those, definitely get this memory. Recommend it for sure. Like to thank GeIL for providing it. I'll add the latest pricing, which is actually very well priced, below in the description. And again, thank you for watching.